Ever run out of decal setting solution or just don't want to spend all that money? Hi, I'm Mike Myers. And right here, here's the Moosey, star of the show. And you're here for another episode of Modeling with Mike. And today I'll show you how to make DIY setting solutions for perfect decals, cheap and easy. Now, first of all, what is a decal setting solution? Well, they're solutions that do a couple of things. They soften decals, they help them conform to the panel lines, whether raised or recessed, and they reduce silvering in your decals. And they come in two different kinds. First one is a solution you set on the model before you put the decal on. That lets the decal set and conform to the panel lines. And then you put another one on top that softens the decal and lets it even more conform to the panel lines. Now, there's a few brands out there, namely Microsol, Microset, Mr. Mark Setter, which a lot of people don't like to use because it's pretty hot. Now, why are DIY alternatives useful? Well, number one, they're budget friendly. I'll show you later, they just cost just a scant fraction of what the name brands do. And they're easy to make, and I'll show you how to do that too. I'm going to turn around. I got everything set up on the workbench, and I'll meet you there in just a second. And we're back, and I'm going to show you how to make your decal setting solutions. First of all, need a couple of empty containers. Any plastic container will do. You're going to need distilled water, white vinegar. Needs to be white vinegar, IPA, and dishwashing soap. That's all you need. Okay, for your microset, open up your distilled water here. You're going to need, let's put it in this one. Now, you're going to need to know what's in there. So I'll take a piece of tape, put that right there. Got Microset Homebrew. All right, so you're gonna use distilled water, white vinegar, and dish soap. So we'll fill it up through the way with distilled water. Okay, that should be enough. Where'd I put my cap? There it is. Cap it off. Now, got it filled halfway with water. Now we need some white vinegar. I'm going to load it up with rest of the way with white vinegar. Okay, that'll work. Cap it off. Now, and we'll add some dish soap. Okay, added about 4 drops of dish soap, and we'll mix all that up. Okay, and there we go. Leaves us with something that looks like that. A little cloudy. Not too bad. Now, we're going to show you how to do micro sol. Get another piece of tape. That on there. Micro sol homebrew. Now, for this, we need water, white vinegar, and IPA. So we're going to put 1/3 of the container of each. So here we go. Okay. There's about 1/3 of water, distilled water. Now we'll put another 1/3 of a container of vinegar. Okay. There's another 1/3 of a container of vinegar, and the rest we'll fill with IPA. Fill it the rest of the way with our IPA. Okay. All right, now mix this up with our stick. Okay. And your microsol will look something like this. They're going to look alike, so you want to make sure you got them labeled correctly to begin with. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to demonstrate how to apply them. I'm going to put a couple of decals here. Cut out a couple of decals. We're going to put a couple of stars and bars on this buster. Okay. The rest of those could go over here. This could go there. Okay. Done with this. Now, first of all, we're going to put the micro set on. Once again, get an old brush, and we're just gonna, we have an area here with a lot of good panel lines here, so we're gonna set it on each wing there. First of all, like you would, regular micro set. Move it around right where you're going to set the decal. Okay. Let that soak. Get that micro set solution off of there. I'll get a we're going to need and we'll let this, as we did last video, let this soak about 70 seconds. Okay, that's been about 70 seconds. We dab it on the paper towel and we move it off onto the there we go. And we'll move it onto the area where we put the micro set alternative. Now, the other side, we'll dab it dry. Now, take our brush and we're going to take our microsol homebrew and we're going to spread it on top of the decal to soften it, let it settle a little more. All right. Now we have that. Now, just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to dab off the excess around it. Let it set. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to apply some micro set homebrew to a wide area here and let that brush soak, and make sure you always close that right after you're done. Again, soak the decal 70 seconds. Okay, there's 70 seconds. We'll dab it off on the towel. And just like last time, we're going to move the decal onto the model. There we go. Put the backing paper back. And we will dab off the excess. This one here, we'll press down a little bit on it. Let it conform. Make sure the stuff is off the back. Of it, and now get our brush out of the water, get our microsol solution, apply it on top of the decal. this will soften the decal and let it conform. Now, as the other side, dab off the excess around the decal, not the stuff that's on it. That's gotta that's gotta help it conform. Basically, you let them dry. Okay, now that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, I'll show you this first one. This first one you see is dry, and it's pretty much conformed to the model. And yeah, I don't see any silvering. I don't see any problems, no tears, no deformities. Looks pretty good. And now we'll be able to press down on this. Move everything out from under it. And let it conform. But this is the one we did first. And it looks pretty good to me. So that's all I needed to demonstrate to you. So now I'm going to turn the chair around, and we're going to talk about a little price comparison and troubleshooting tips and other good stuff. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now a little price comparison. This DIY brew that I made, a gallon of distilled water at dollar store was about $2.50. About the same for about a liter of vinegar. About $3 for the bottle of IPA, and I believe it was $2.50 for the dish soap. So I figured with what little I used, the DIY solutions cost $1 a jar. And that's being very generous, I think. I think it's more like 50 to 75 cents for that container that I made. Now store-bought for Microsol, $8.59 for a little 20 milliliter bottle, I believe it is. And for Microset, it's $8.44 for the same size. You're going to be spending $17 for both, compared to $1 or $2 for the DIY homebrew. And as you saw, this works well for most decals. Now, troubleshooting tips. If your decals wrinkle too much, first of all, let it dry. Don't do anything while it's wet. You dab a little white vinegar on the decal and let it react. Then use a damp cotton swab, roll outward from the middle, and let it set. And your wrinkles should be taken care of. That vinegar should soften the decal, take out the wrinkles. That rolling motion should take out any air bubbles, any water that's underneath or moisture that's underneath the decal. How to avoid over softening decals. Well, number one, use your setting solution sparingly. Notice I only used one dip, maybe a second one on each one. That's all you need. You don't need to lather it with the solution or it'll be too soft and it will wrinkle or tear. Number two, wait before touching it. Don't touch a decal while it's wet. Okay, actually I would prefer never to touch a decal until it has that clear coat on it, and that clear coat is dry, hard dry. Just stick one type of solution to it. Okay. That microset goes on the bottom, stays on the bottom. The other goes on top, stays on top. Never mix them. Remember, test it out first. Okay. If they're old decals, if they're a different decal than what different brand of decals, you know, you could have cartographs, you can have Tamaya make their own decals, you know, that they're a different decal than what you've been using. Test it out first. And do not use heat. Do not use a hair dryer while it's softening. Let it dry on its own. Okay, it doesn't need any help. If you have stubborn decals that will not settle, has edges that are curling up, and a lot of times this happens when you have raised panel lines, where your decal goes on the end of a raised panel line. Half of the decals on the raised panel line. You carefully apply more microsol homebrew. You don't touch it. Gently press it down with a cotton swab. Now, if you need to remove bubbles with a hobby knife, just prick a very minute hole in there so the bubbles, air or the moisture underneath has an escape route. You can apply heat then with a hair dryer, and then once it's conformed, put a clear coat on it. Always put a clear coat over your decals once they're all done and dried. That sets it in there, and it's protected. Nothing's going to happen to them with a clear coat over them. As a last resort, you could take your hobby knife and carefully cut along your panel lines and curves to get rid of those bubbles and press down. DIY decal setting solutions are a great budget-friendly alternative. You should give it a try and let me know how it works in the comments. As usual, love hearing from you. Next video, I'm going to show you 5 budget-friendly model kits that are great for beginners. A lot of these are either starter sets or they have like 1, 2, or 3 sprues worth of parts in the kit. Very simple, very easy, and very easy instructions. So I'll show you some of those. As far as the channel itself, subscriptions, we're at 141 subscriptions now. Doing great for being only on the air for 3 months, and one of those months was pretty much wasted because I was sick. So we're doing great, doing great. I'm very happy with it. Remember, live stream every Thursday, not Tuesday, Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's Eastern Time. All you guys outside the U.S. have to figure out that time on your own. I know the UK is 5 hours ahead of us, so that'll be 6 p.m. your time. Everybody else, adjust your time to that. So hope to see you. Well, and that's all I got for this video. So you know what we say here. Never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. And with that being said, we'll see you next video. Bye-bye.